All right.
Okay. So now you guys can hear us, huh?
I assume she should be.
Okay. Can you guys hear us now?
Let's see.
If
Let
you
me
can hear
text.
us.
Let me text.
Okay.
Let's see. And really, I don't even need to necessarily text.
Let's see.
We got to do the whole thing.
We probably have to do that over again.
Yeah, we got to do the whole thing over again.
Okay. So we have to play that Will Smith song again. We can play it at the end. Play that Will Smith song again.
Okay, we sound is
Okay,
there.
sound is in. Okay, sound is in.
Sound
Okay,
is in.
okay,
So
so we'll start again. So we'll go backwards. So tell us, Khary first, and then Brittany. Tell us about the event first. I put the gig fair and the link is inside of the description, and so with that, maybe just go ahead and explain what it is to people.
all right. So now it's like I'm full presence of mind. You got me. I'm here. I'm watching, and I see the viewers is gathering in. Thank you, Coco. Thank you, Coco. Much love. And switch my way because people looking at Piper like, what's going on? I'm just messing with you now. So Gig Fair is an event that has been on my heart and mind for a long time. And it took a while to find the right partner to pull this off. I'm so glad that Grand Valley State University has partnered with me on this event. So Grand Valley State University has a Detroit Center. If you're unfamiliar with GVSU is a big university in the Grand Rapids area, specifically Allendale, Michigan. So if you've ever driven to the west side of the state and you're in that mix, it's more than just the home of Floyd Money Mayweather. It is also the home of Grand Valley State. And at Grand Valley State, as they're looking to engage more of the Detroit center and getting more Southeast Detroiters involved, this is one of the initiatives that it has onboarded. So the gig fair is a concept that basically is like, as an entrepreneur, I never liked job fairs, and like I never liked working. And when I say that, meaning I never liked working for anybody else. I was a bad employee. Burger King was not good. Taco Bell was not good. Pizza Hut, I was a delivery driver, and I was probably the worst delivery driver you could ever get. It would be times where I would just stop at the gas station with the girl that I thought looked good, and I just sit between pizza breaks and just stop at the gas station and flirt with her. Never liked really employment. It's been a couple jobs that were cool and people were cool there, but I always like having my own business. My dad's an entrepreneur. My grandfather was an entrepreneur. My mom was an entrepreneur. I always knew entrepreneurship was what I wanted. So even going to Walsh College and having a master's from Walsh College, they talk about entrepreneurs wanted, but I always get these emails. Come to this job fair. Come to this job fair. You want a job? You want a job? You want a job? And I've even been bold enough to go to job fairs and try to flip it like, yo, man, I don't want a job, but can I contract to get some of this work? And the people in the hiring department would look at me like I was speaking Chinese. So the gig fair is for people like me. If you're like me, and we say that this is a city of side hustles and side hustlers, and it much so is. It's a whole gig economy going on. For the past couple of years, you've been at home. I know I'm sounding like that commercial on television or something. You've been at home, sitting on the couch, trying to figure out how you can activate more of what you do if you have a public service offering. And specifically, if you're like me, you're a business to business type of business. So I don't really have a lot of business to consumer goods. So most of the people that will buy things from me are businesses or corporations or organizations. And this idea was always an idea, but now the idea is becoming a reality. I want to give a big thank you to Elizabeth Russell, that is at Grand Valley State. She directs the Detroit Center, and also Kara Van Dam, who is on board for all of the satellite locations of Grand Valley State University. Both have helped and given a lot of support. Tina Lee at Grand Valley State University and so many others, and just learning the moving parts. And if you know me and you know creative differences, which funds Detroit is different, anything I do is going to involve my general at arms, and that is my consigliere, as they say in the mob. But Suzanne Clegg has helped with this. And it's onboarding, and we're matching people like it's speed dating, but it's speed business dating. Cause so, if you're an organization and you're looking for a videographer, that videographer, you may want to meet we got 5 for you to meet. So you may see all 5 styles. Just because you don't select the first one the first time, this person may be great for doing B-roll, and this person may be great for capturing your event. This person may be great for doing something like headshots and like special, congratulations or Christmas videos. We all have different skill sets and styles, and now you have an onboarding process instead of the usual I guess alley oop or the bat signal that we throw to find contractors, which is put something up on our Facebook page or go through LinkedIn profiles to try to see, how do I find a grant writer? How do I find a grant writer? Or calling the person, like, hey man, who's your grant writer? And people are overwhelmed or they've retired or they moved to Arizona or whatever's going on. This is a space and place where you can meet people to connect you to the needs that you need for your organization. That's what Gig Fair is about. And I'm so glad that this is happening. So I'm in every mix of emotion because it's a lot of stakeholders in this process that still need to get a win. Grand Valley State is doing this to connect better with the Detroit community. So to connect with the Detroit community, you get the independent contractors, so the entrepreneurial industry and entrepreneurs that can walk away feeling happy because if you win some business, me as an entrepreneur, those are the great days. The nonprofit organizations, because they're looking for ways to connect to onboard talent outside of like Kelly Services. Most people don't know when Kelly Services comes in, they may charge 30 to 40% more than whatever the contractor's charging. So you get a CPA from Kelly Services, the CPA may only be getting $30 an hour, but Kelly Services may be charging like $66 per hour with the taxes and everything else. So now to independently negotiate, you may be able to get $45 an hour, and that is actually a deal for the nonprofit organization if you have your ducks in a row to do this. So we're excited about this. So many people will be coming out. It's a lot of energy, but like I say, every mix of emotions. So it's like the possibility of failure, so you get that little bit of nervousness, like if this doesn't all match up right. It's like musical chairs. We have to match the right amount of contractors with the right amount of nonprofit organizations. And if it doesn't mesh, then certain people are going to walk away with sick stomachs. And we want people to walk away with smiles, not sick stomachs. We're excited about this. It's all taking place Friday. You missed the opportunity to sign up, but there will be a networking hour from 2 to 3. That's the Let's Make a Deal time. That Let's Make a Deal time. Make sure that you can come on out, meet people, see what's going on. And this will be an idea that will flourish like some of the other Khary Frazier ideas of Detroit is different. I'm trying to put seeds in the ground where if I do it this year, it'll be done next year, so that these things can list and exist for decades. And then I'm not having to sell the pitch so much, and people kind of have an understanding and internalize what these meanings mean to really branch out and, get some legs under some stuff. So I'm very excited about this. Gig Fair, thegigfair.com is the website that we put together for it. But along with thegigfair.com, hopefully you can hear from some other channels. I'm glad that Piper Carter was even asking, and I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And it's like, yeah, I can definitely talk Gig Fair tonight, amongst other things. And that's what's happening.
Thank you, Khary. And Brittany.
Yes.
Tell us again about what you've been up to with It's Food Detroit.
Took a mini vacation, went to the West Coast, spent some time in Malibu, went to tons of beaches. And that was the precursor to the Pizza Expo that for me felt like a vacation, but it was really work. I got a chance to meet food vendors not food vendors, but suppliers, like a vegan cheese and vegan pepperoni. So I got to meet new ones. I got to meet the ones that I currently work with. I got a chance to take seminars and classes that were rooted in pizza and marketing and food costs and labor costs and pizza dough. I met 2 amazing other Black women that are passionate about pizza. We connected. That to me was super vital for Is Food Detroit, along with the expo, right? So networking with like-minded people that look like me was very touching. Yeah, I've come back inspired. I think I had one of the best weeks last week at the pizzeria, just based off the momentum of that expo. Got a chance to take my mother. She's never been to the West Coast, and I got a chance to take my friend who helps me so much. His name is Mo, in the pizzeria, helps me do so much stuff. So it was kind of cool that we were all able to get away. just for a second, and then also to fuel ourselves and to invest in ourselves. So great times. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, that's what's up. So, and then we'll see some of these changes at on Is Food Detroit, you think?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm changing the vegan pepperoni. It should be here Thursday. I'm very excited about that. I'm eventually changing over the cheese. I already added some things to the menu, but I am gonna do a new summer menu. Got a lot of exciting things coming, some collaborations coming, a lot of collaborations coming, that were rooted from the expo, but also rooted with a friend that I got a chance to go see in LA while I was in Cali. So she's a vegan chef. So yes, over the next few months, you guys are going to see a lot of different things, even from the social media presence change a little bit. And then just keep expanding the menu and expanding what we're doing until we can get a full 6-day a week operation. So yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. So, let's get into our topic. All right. So, I threw a picture up there. It's kind of an all encapsulating picture. And again, we pretty much know the details by this point. It's already been a few days, so we already know all the details. I want to take you guys take on where you are now, like day 3. Like where are you? I think I'm gonna go to you first, Brittany. You were, if I'm not mistaken, were you upset when you called me? Is that what I was feeling?
No, I was just not upset. I'm not at the situation at all. I just feel like it's the obvious, like you say about we all know by now. Like, I mean, we all know what the right way of doing things are. Like, we all know that it was wrong. I would hope we know that it was wrong, right? I don't care what the rooted intention was behind it and why he did it, and it was wrong, right? You don't slap somebody. There's so many different ways to handle it. That's the obvious though. That's the obvious answer, right? There's so many obvious opinions about what happened. I'll tell you, the morning that happened, I had a really, really, really rough morning. It was my first day back, going back to work. My intention was to get to my desk at 6 o'clock. There was a task that I was doing before that that drew out, and I didn't end up being able to get to my desk till about 7:30, which is a disaster for me. And then I lose my glasses. All that being said, I'm wake up in the morning. I live with, my boyfriend and my puppy. So I wake the household up like frustrated, upset, um, not the way that I should work up based off of me being emotional. So on a microscopic level, that same day, I think this happened the night before, but I didn't. I walked into work and my coworkers were like, "Will Smith," and I'm like, "What about Will Smith?" They were like, "You didn't see it." I'm like, "See what? The Oscars? The Oscars was this weekend? Yeah, he slapped Chris Rock." So the point that I'm making is that same morning, on a microscopic level, I allowed my emotions after I just explained this beautiful, amazing vacation. And I wake up and it doesn't go as planned. And I'm throwing a temper tantrum, right? And I'm waking, it's just a puppy, right? My boyfriend is a pretty grown man, but it's just the fact that I bring that type of energy on a Monday morning into the household, right? Just like that. So on microscopic levels, the things that occurred, we do on a daily base, right? And there's always, as Meek Mill would say, levels to things, right? So of course, the obvious, right? It's the Oscars, right? It's public, right? So again, we can't not get away from the fact that it was wrong. I just like to concentrate on things that I can relate to and apply to my life. And so when I see that happen, I see a person who is a human being who is, I think, sometimes revered, sometimes not revered because of the way the way that the world perceives him and the way that he likes for himself to be perceived. I think he, in his mind, sees himself as the down to earth guy from Philly that's always smiling, that loves his family, and that has been married to 2 Black women, and that has 3 Black children, right? I think that's how he wants to be portrayed. But at that moment, right, all that goes out the window off of either, we'll never know if it's emotion or the emotion of someone he cares about, right? So I'm like, the first thing I think about is myself. Like, man, the moments that I've allowed myself to drift into someone that I don't think that I am, right? And that was more important for me to digest than to digest him slapping Chris Rock. Now, when Khary speaks, when you speak, there's other things, of course, other opinions that I have. But when I see something like that, a person who 9 times out of 10, I don't want to say quote unquote does the right thing all the time, but when you think of Will Smith, you think about, I think more so than ever, he's either corny, he does the right thing, or he's always smiling and he plays in movies that are predictable, right? It's like all those things. So you would never, I don't think, associate him walking on stage and slapping. Like I told Piper, he out Kanye, right? So point I'm making is that we live in a society where we excuse ourselves from microscopic levels of things that we see other people do because they're so magnified and so extreme. So we find ways to slip out of self-reflection of the things that we do that are basically those same actions but smaller, and it makes us feel better because we see someone do our similar smaller actions on a bigger scale. And I think that's what a lot of what I'm seeing. And I just don't like that we look for escapism and self-work. It's wrong. Duh. It's 2022. We know that what he did is wrong. But why are we having a conversation in such a surface level, like as Black people or people human beings in general? It's so much going on in this world. And we choose to discuss this from such a small level. I see people lose their emotional intelligence on a daily base on smaller levels than how I just described. I woke up on that Monday morning, smaller than that, but it's still coming from the same energy. So my in thought of it is it was wrong. I could never ever in my life take up for anyone putting their hands on somebody. I think that we need to move what Will did out of it being Black on Black. I just watched a video today of guys in the 70s going on David Letterman and slapping each other, and they were both white. It's not that's not a Black on Black behavior. That is what we call human nature. And until we as humans learn how to discuss human nature, and characteristics, we are always going to be stuck on a hamster wheel or what's the other one I like to use? A time capsule. And I think a lot of what we do as people, we get stuck on imagery and stuck on emotional things and let things keep us in a certain area. And I think this is one of them. If anything, these are entertainers that don't care about what we think, don't care about what we feel. And even if there's some type of retaliation, like he loses the Oscar or he's sued, he will be okay. And meanwhile, we still dealing with our own demons that are very similar to the demon that we saw come out of him. That's my 2 cents on it.
Khary, what do we see here? Or for you? You need a minute?
I need 1 more minute, and then I'll give you my perspective. But I'm gonna say it's cap.
Okay.
To lead.
Okay. Well, all right. So for me, I'll say, okay, I'm still not clear. I know everyone is saying that it's fake. And it
maybe, I don't know.
It could be fake. It could be real.
I don't trust nobody in Hollywood.
It could be real. It could be fake. I'm still unsure. I'm still unsure if it was some sort of humiliation ritual. I'm just annoyed.
No, I'm with you though.
I'm just annoyed that, I'm annoyed that on the same evening, so much other awesomeness happened. And like, this is the biggest takeaway. You know what I mean? There was so much other awesomeness, like Samuel L. Jackson won, for the first time.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Also, too, Beyonce had this amazing performance and like this yellow, and she performed with Blue Ivy, and it was an incredible spectacle. That was awesome. It was an all-Black production team that produced it, and there were a couple of others too, right? And including Will won the Oscar,
and he deserved it.
He won the Oscar for the King Richard.
Completely deserved that Oscar.
Completely deserved the Oscar. However, what's annoying to me is that this has to overshadow all of those other things, because what I would really love is for us to be doing a podcast, which I would like for us to do, how all those other things were super incredible, right? And like this thing didn't happen yet. And still, though, also too, what I think about is how much eyes the Oscars got, because every single person that I know of, whether I know them personally or whether I saw the commentary on the internet, the rhetoric was, I don't watch the Oscars. And the only thing that made me look at the Oscars was this clip. So I want to kind of speak to that. I want to also, I wanted Khary to chime in, but I'm going to throw up another photo. I want to bring this down. It's so difficult. Okay. So Always First Class says, when a grown man publicly disrespects someone's wife in front of millions of people, he deserves everything coming to him for that. Okay, so wait, Khary, before you chime in there. Okay, go ahead and chime in, Khary, because I'm gonna put the camera on you, and then I'm gonna throw up. Wait, and then I'm gonna throw up another photo because I want to. Because I want to. I want to get your reaction to this photo. So I'm gonna throw the camera on you, Khary, and I want you to chime in. I want you to chime in, Khary, and then. Oh no, Khary said he's drinking the Kevin Samuels tea.
Oh my God.
Kevin Samuels wasn't too happy with Will. He said Will simping.
Oh, okay. Well,
right,
go ahead,
so,
Khary.
So I'll give you two takes, and this is all a precursor to all of the chaos that Josh's show is going to be tomorrow night, because Josh sent me this immediately and said, man, sometimes you hit a breaking point, man. So let's go through if this was real. If this was real, I believe that if this was a real event, first off, Will Smith was in a different presence of mind, possibly just dealing with what it was like when he said, keep my wife's effing name out your mouth. Like, so I'm living in the world of this being reality. So different presence of mind, a breaking point. Obviously, at that point, many emotions ran over. So it was an emotional response. In that emotional response, his composure was so off kilter that not only did he slap him, he like immediately turned his back on him. You know what I'm saying? So this is like something that you would assume, to slap someone, as the great Charlie Murphy said, you don't slap a man. If you slap a man, they pull out guns and duel, as he said.
I tried to tell my pops that.
But that's what Charlie Murphy said. It was real. Like,
But wait, so time out.
So
the slap. So are you saying that is
I'm living in the world of it being reality, meaning like you're off that kilter that you'll slap someone, turn your do a 180 and walk back down the stage as if like it's no response of thinking like your presence of mind is so gone that even like any security tackling me, Chris Rock having also visceral violent response, security or Chris Rock having a visceral viral response, or furthermore, you've assaulted someone on national television before one of the most watched events, quote unquote,
internationally.
So it's like, you don't even have a frame of reference of saying like it really was an assault, or like what was it? It's not Meg Thee Stallion and what's the short dude's name? And Tory Lanez. It's like, okay, everyone was sitting watching this, and you got all of Hollywood watching you assault him, and not just so like Hollywood producers, people on set. We hear these stories about
financiers.
Financiers. You hear these stories about actors sometimes being harder to deal with and stuff, like Raquel Welch and whatever. Like, I mean, just all types of people on set.
Yeah,
Wesley Snipes. But to witness it before that Academy. Now, if I'm thinking about producing a film with him, I'm thinking to myself, like, oh shit, if this is how he's acting at the Academy Award, imagine what he would respond like if we don't have, if we tell him like shoot time is 3 o'clock, but we need to move shoot climb to 5 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna be the production assistant to go tell him that? And then you'd be like, new person. And it's like, no bets. I mean, what type of insurance? Like, it's a lot of moving parts with this. I mean, this could cause insurance to go up because now he's more, as they say, volatile to deal with or something. So like, if I'm living in the world of this being real, it will have some spiraling repercussions if we're living in the world of it being real.
Yeah.
Also in the world of if this is real, Will Packer. This is the first time Will Packer produced an all-black production of the Oscars. They had a lot of behind-the-scenes black people, right? So a lot of that behind-the-scenes black people, now it looks like, look at this coon fest.
That's
when
what they
you
saying.
give them some power. So like, that's living in the world of it being real. Now, my perspective is this is all cap. I think it's fake. I think that the staging of this, especially depending upon like Chris Rock's reaction. I mean, for a man to get slapped and then almost like, and then he turned his back, like almost everything I said. Also, knowing that Will Packer is one of Kevin Hart's closest business partners. And right now, Kevin Hart is onboarding this tour with Kevin Hart and Chris Rock are doing this dual tour that wasn't moving the tickets that they thought for the stadium style seating. Since this incident, the ticket sales have gone up exponentially, like maybe like 5-6 fold. I mean, this is the most talked about public event since I'd say the storming of the Capitol January 6th. And it became a viral moment. This viral moment can be leveraged. Will Packer, in partnership with Kevin Hart, is also in partnership now, working more deals with Netflix. I could easily see this tying into what becomes the Netflix deal. I'd assume Chris Rock probably has like 15 minutes of a comedy set written about this very incident immediately, because he immediately said, whoa, that was a moment in TV. And he was smiling like right before and then after. And then he kind of followed.
Got smacked.
Yeah, it didn't look like a smack. You heard a thump. I mean, it's Hollywood, sound effects. And then I also don't put it past Hollywood, like most institutions, Detroit itself. Like when black people get control of something, they'll give you like 15% of the budget and say, pull off a miracle. So now you got to think outside the box of like, okay, let me get on the phone with Will Smith. Let me get on the phone with Chris Rock. Hey, is y'all willing to do some crazy coon shit? Yeah, man, come on. How much money is it going to be? And how much will it be? I could easily see Will Packer, Chris Rock, and Will Smith all having a discussion about what we could do. This played right into his speech of saying like sometimes fathers do things out of love. And then also this positions that Smith brand of what it used to be in the labeling of like, we are the ideal marriage that you want. Because now you see
Ozzy and Harriet
been through certain things, but now we're back together and you can overcome certain struggles through things like this. And even the whole branding of this is how you defend your wife is something that came in right after. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the American Alopecia Association does like a co-branding sponsorship with the Red Table Talk for like 3 years now. You know what I mean? Like so many opportunities can spiral from this just because like in today's world, I don't know what is a play and what is a reality.
So let's do this. Okay, what do we see here?
I don't see. You got to move the.
I have to move it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go. Hold on. Let me go to Brittany. Brittany, what do you see here?
What do I see there?
Yeah,
I see Jada looking beautiful. Looks like she's about to swallow the joke.
I don't know. And then if you're in the chat, like, what do you guys see?
What do you see?
I see Lena from a different world.
Lena. I do see uncomfortableness. I see someone smiling through pain, or that's what it looks like. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I love Jada, but I never liked her acting. I always thought she was like a terrible actress.
Oh my God.
But I feel like here, I feel like she's not acting. Like I feel like she's really hurt. And I feel like she was trying to, it feels like her bottom lip may have been like about to quiver. It feels like it feels like her face looks like she's in pain. It feels like she's in pain. In her face, like her face looks like, she's, I don't know, she might be teary eyed, and it feels like, I don't know. I just, if I could, it feels like she's hurt.
She is an actress.
I'm telling you, she's not a good actress.
You don't think she's a good actress?
She's decent enough to play this off.
It says, look at her left eye.
You don't
her left eye
does played a good role when in Set It Off when she was crying?
I've never believed Jada ever. Like
in Jason's lyric?
Nothing.
When she was
not even my favorite film, not even my favorite Jada Pinkett film, which is Inkwell. Never believed her. But I love that we were the same age. And I love that she got opportunity to act
to be Lena yourself.
And be successful. Maybe I did want to be Lena, but my thing is,
you saw the episode with Tupac and was like, I should be her.
Right.
I should be Lena.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't need to be coming to campus.
Right.
See, Brittany ain't seen this. It was an episode with the light-skinned dude.
Come on, man.
Him, with the curly hair.
He's
like, you dating the sucker. And then and then Tupac basically was about to jump him and everything. And then because Lena was with the college-educated brother. And then the people from Baltimore came to the campus.
Let's be clear. Look at my hair. Like, this is the effect Jada has had on me. This whole hairstyle, this
Hold
bob.
On, let people see you.
This bob right here. I'm not a Jada fan. Like, you know what I'm saying? But this haircut is Jada. Janet and Jada. Like,
I was gonna say,
you know what I'm saying? So
I would go as far as to say it's more of the urban classic film Poetic Justice than Menace to Society.
But I'm saying I've never been like a huge
Jada fan.
But
Jada's signature hair is the short blonde cut from Low Down Dirty Shame.
But Set It Off, she had this bob, right? She had the bob and Set It Off, right? I always loved the bob braids because of Jada. Like Jada was never the best actress ever, right?
Oh, here we go.
But she just wasn't. It's the reality. She was never the best actress ever, but she was fly, and she reminded everybody of, I don't have to be. She was like Halle Berry in Boomerang. She was like, I don't have to be dialed up to be bad. I don't have to be dialed up to be. So Jada was kind of like the 90s, especially in a different world, right? She was like that cool black girl that's super pretty that you can find on 7 Mile.
Remember when Lena burned down the dormitory? I'm just messing with you.
It's just a fact. But we'll get into it with the Jada thing, with the if it's real or not real. If it's real, I think I'm a little bit more. Now I just have a different take. It's no way. I don't need my man defending me over that type of joke. Like I just don't like.
Wait, time out.
And I don't have alopecia. I don't, as a black woman, I have had hair loss. I'm dealing with hair loss right now. Like stressing out. Like I put some stuff in my hair that I shouldn't have, and I'm trying to grow my hair back right now. So it's a very sensitive subject for black women specifically when it comes to our hair for so many different levels, right? So honestly, in my honest opinion, like if it was real or unreal, Chris Rock is an asshole. Okay, and that was pretty light to me. That even with him being an asshole, that was pretty light, right? But Jay-Z and Beyonce was in the room. You see, he didn't joke with Jay-Z.
But time out.
You see, didn't. But I let you go. I got one more point. So you see, he didn't get on Jay-Z and Beyonce, right? I wonder why. You know what I'm saying? We won't ever know that if it's real or fake. So
because they're not in Hollywood. They're not actors. They're musicians.
Okay, that's a fair point. All right. So I think it's more so Chris Rock don't want no steam with Jay. That's my opinion. I think that Will is an easy target. I think that Will and Jada, out of all the stuff that they have been through, there could have been a lot of worse jokes that came out of the last 2 years of Will and Jada's life. Entanglement wasn't brought up. Cheating wasn't brought up. Church of Scientology wasn't brought up. The Red Table Talk wasn't brought up. He didn't even say the word alopecia. Even if Chris Rock is lying and saying she didn't know he had it, even if he did know, that was light. So I feel as if protecting and defending me, a nigga gotta be like, fuck your bitch, nigga, on the Oscars for me to be like, you better get up there and slap him. I'm not saying that's what Jada wanted, but as far as people saying like, oh, like he did what's right, he defended his woman, like over that, Like that's how you want
Yeah.
your man to defend. That's how you want your man to put. You want to put your man in a situation. If Chris Rock would have whooped Will Smith's ass or had a gun on him and shot him or stabbed him, you want your man to go out over alopecia, a joke that wasn't alopecia wasn't even mentioned. So that's where we going with it. So I think I love Will Smith, right? Because he's true to himself, but I don't think the joke. I'm really trying to dial it back. I don't think the joke warranted him hopping on stage and slapping him. And I think if I'm Jada, if I see my man about to walk on a stage over that, even if I'm hurt to my core, this is Brittany. This is not me speaking for all Black women. This is me specifically. I'm gonna hold him back and say, we're gonna deal with this later. Chill. That's just me. Cause that's the type of play I am, as the kids will call it, PIM. Don't move. I got this. Just chill. That's me though. Ain't no joke like that gonna have me feeling like my man needs to protect me in an award show that I just boycotted 2 years ago. That I don't even want to be here. I'm gonna play it cool. Or we walking out. Let's go. I don't feel comfortable. That's how I'm looking at it.
Okay. I was just gonna say a couple different things. Y'all know how much, I work with comedians. I love the comedy world. It's an art form I love. And really, they get thrown under the bus and deal with a lot of fire. You know what I'm saying? Between like Coco that tapped in, or Josh, rest in peace, Kool-Aid, Howie Bell. A lot of my OGs are comedians. It's a art form I love. And the thing about comedy is there are no topics that are off limits for comedians. The fight that Dave Chappelle has been fighting against the trans community has been going on since. So it's like, as a comedian, that's part of the art form. Now, are some of the jokes obviously can be harmful? Most definitely. But that's just the art form of comedy. So in defense of comedy, especially when you're coming on board, because the joke that he made about Javier Bardem and his wife, that was like right before that, was way more along the lines of like, what the hell, when he said like, even if it's like you go in a lose-lose situation, because she up for Oscar and you up for Oscar, and if you win, you got to act mad too because she didn't win. I tell you, that is still on brand with Chris Rock's comedy, but it still is like one of those things where, like what you said, Brittany, but then you think about the staging of where he was at on stage, where he was sitting. You think about like just following Chris Rock's comedy for most of my life. He's made definitely jokes about other people in the room. I mean, he was making jokes about Suge Knight at the MTV Awards, like at the height of like death rowism. You know what I'm saying? So, and I definitely would think that like that's what comedians do. Comedians poke, they pry, they pull. Like that is the whole art form of what it is. And when they hire comedians to be on the show, and I don't watch the Oscars, I don't watch the Grammys, I don't watch any of these shows. I'm actually one of the few people that, last award show I really like watching was the Source Awards. But the premise of why they're bringing the comedian in is for an entertainment factor. This whole production, like I say, through Will Packer, the three-headed host thing of Amy Schumer, Regina Hall, and Wanda Sykes.
Man, I love her.
All three of them, and I'm sure if I watch it, they're talking jokes about everybody too. It's like one of those things where you just know that's what they do.
Period.
Now, if and within that, we don't know whether Chris Rock knew or Chris Rock didn't.
We will never know.
I'm living in the world of what I think. I think this was all staged.
Okay, tell me what we see here.
We see Chris Rock laughing with Lupita.
Will, you mean?
Will Smith laughing with Lupita.
And I think people are saying like you'll be surprised how people look at pictures and even videos nowadays and will tell you all the way exactly what was going on in somebody's mind. And if this is real, right? To say that Will, he was laughing before he looked at Jada. Like, I think the joke honestly went over Will's head. I don't even think that joke was even funny.
It wasn't.
It wasn't even a funny joke. It wasn't even G.I. Jane, like, okay, she got a short haircut. Like, I think it went over his head.
She's in green and she has a short haircut. I think the other thing we got to remember in today's culture and how conversations are going, it's like I'm definitely just bringing it up because the other thing that's been heavy in the pop culture news cycle has been this whole Pete Davidson, Kanye West thing. So it's like, how do we get in the space that's occupying most of this pop culture space? We need some Pete Davidson, Kanye West stuff to happen for us.
I believe that too.
And that is this. Because right now, since this has happened, you don't hear DL and Kanye, and did one of Kanye fans walk up on DL while he was eating dinner or whatever.
It was
like
DL,
it's completely, whether it's real or whether it's not. It's like all of this stuff I look at and I'm thinking Pete Davidson and Kanye West is sitting around saying, hey, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make a video like this. It's like it's so
Kanye
much
was just at the soccer
orchestrated.
game with Kim and the kids.
It's so orchestrated. Like I personally think that all of this stuff is cap. And I think that this world that we live in of even in the shadows of, like I said, I'm surprised it wasn't like two buff Nigerians with the noose behind it too. Because I mean, you laughing, Piper, but when we think about it, the Jussie Smollett incident in like that 1 month where we thought it was real and he was on TV interviewing with Robin Roberts saying I'm the gay Tupac and all of that stuff. The LGBTQ community raised a shitload of funds during that time, right? They raised exponentially, especially when it comes to Black audiences. And then this was also during the political season and stuff. I mean, you had presidential candidates talking about it. It was a linchpin talking point. Now, I just think due to the racism and them good old boys and them Irish, police officers that have been in the throes of the Chi for years,
police mafia.
They had a hard one and were hard pressed to make sure that we're gonna extend every resource we can to exhaust what this was. If that incident would have happened in like another more, I guess, like San Francisco, we would be thinking that, damn man, some people really did try to lynch Jussie Smollett, and he would be on a tour right now. He'd have probably been hosting the Oscars.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Off of this whole thing, like people know it's agency, it's branding, it's from top to bottom. Like this is kind of what's happening these days. So like we gotta remember that it's not out the veil, because I don't think Jussie Smollett acted alone coming up with that. I'm pretty sure it was some managers, some handlers, some agents, some of the people in the mix.
What's the guy's name that does the show? What's his name?
Which one?
The director.
Damn, I can't believe my mind went.
Me neither.
The guy that owed Dame Dash all the money.
Man, that's
funny.
so funny. I love
Empire.
That yeah. What is his Lee Daniels? Lee Daniels.
Yeah. And I mean, Will Packer specifically, I don't know if y'all remember, I watched some of these interviews leading up to it because I follow some of this stuff, but Will Packer said it's going to be big. It's going to be new. It's going to be more than what y'all thought leading up to this. And I just know how it is when Black people are given resources. Usually the budget is like 33%, So I easily see the Oscars saying, well, we believe that you're creative enough to pull off what you need to pull off with this. And so it's like, damn, I got to do something outside the box. Who can I call? Chris Rock is already on tour with us. We're not selling tickets to this tour. Will Smith is my homie, and we've been talking about this Netflix deal. Hey, Will and Chris, is y'all willing to you know what I'm saying, like do our noose incident, because I mean, Piper's laughing, but I mean, in today's culture, all of this stuff, I'm still trying to decide, like, what is real, what is not real. When the incidents are real, I think the whole fallout kind of moves differently. Those people died really at the Travis Scott concert. That to me was a sign of real, because we saw legality get involved
immediately,
and it escalated fast. You know what I'm saying? That was real. You know what I mean? But unless things escalate in a fever pitch like that, it's like, I don't know whether it's real or whether it's not real. Is Pete Davidson in Kim Kardashian's bed, or is he in a soundstage? Did he really get slapped? I mean, did the slap connect?
Piper laughing.
You know what I'm saying? Was Jussie Smollett set up by some other people that forced him to try to do this? I don't know.
We'll never know.
but I do know that it is triggering. It's occupied my timeline. It's taking up so much social capital that it's the most talked about thing, like headlines everywhere. And with that energy and with that galvanization, you can shift and do certain things. I think this same energy, as they say that they've banned Will Smith from ever coming to the Oscars, this may be the catalyst for them, Will Packer, Jada, and Will, to say, all right, perfect. Now we're going to go as far as to say we're going to make the Black Oscars, because they banded you, and now you could be the host for the next 5 years, you and your wife, because you know how they like co-hosts and stuff. And we've made the Black Oscars. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And then the NAACP and a lot of Black politicians write letters, say, we behind Will. I felt like smacking motherfuckers up before too, or sorry for my language, I felt like smacking people up before as well. And I understand what you're going on. You know what I'm saying? And now you got the Black Oscars all out of this incident, and you parlay it. And if that's the deal, Will Packer, more power to you. Will Smith, Jada, more power to you. This is really how you boycott the Oscars. You basically get kicked out the Oscars, take all that energy, and just shift it over this way.
I love your brain, Khary.
Me too.
Okay, now let's pretend it's real. Okay, now look at the picture.
If it's
pretend it's real, and look at the picture.
If it's real, again, that joke was corny as hell. And I think it went over Will's head. And I think, again, you, as me as a woman, for me to be salty in a space like that, you're going to have to say me having alopecia was my karma because I'm a bitch. Like, you're going to have to say something like real aggressive, right? Her rolling her eyes to me, even rolling her eyes wasn't enough for him to get up and be like, oh, my wife just roll her eyes. She ain't like that.
Well, you don't know, because, you know, there's a such thing as telepathy, and husband and wife or partners or whatever you want to call it, they do have silent language, or family members.
I agree with that.
Have silent language. And, you know, we don't know in their love language what rolling the eyes, you know, actually means.
That's true.
That might mean, you know what I'm saying?
That's
like
true.
He might see that and he knows like what level is that, like, you know, yellow, orange, or red. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. I just don't.
I'm saying if it's real.
If it's real, that makes it even
what
worse.
eye rolling was going on when August Alsina was in the house.
See, that's
Yikes.
so we gotta stop.
Yikes.
I feel like, okay.
Yikes.
So this is where this is where I
Yikes.
feel like Will and Jada have made a lot of mistakes over the years. In their early years, their relationship had a lot of rumors and it was mysterious, right? And now with the red table talk, I feel like they feel as if because they've become one of the poster childs for relationships that they need to be more transparent. And this is not a society that understands honesty and transparency. Like, this situation shows you how immature our society is. And you go and you open up, you just said the wife and husband and wife thing. You go and you open up your marriage for people that don't even want to understand you. The Black community has never wanted to understand Will and Jada's relationship. The Black community think they're weird. They think Will is a simp. They think that they kids, older Black people, a lot of them think that the way they raise their kids is wrong. So it's like on one end, they are the poster child for certain people. And then on the other end, people despise them. They never have had like a pretty consistent, and you can see that now. Like, you know what I'm saying? They never had a consistent opinion on them. So to give people parts of y'all that they don't deserve, like, I just don't like it. And then,
But that's social media. That's social media, but that's social media.
What you get. That's the type of stuff. This is the type of stuff that happens when you involve the world in your relationship. So now your emotions is in it. Now you feel like you got something to prove. Now you feel mad. So now you about to go. This is where you end up.
Well, this is media in general, and this is social media in general. So celebrities are used to having their body exposed when they're on the beach.
So why he slap them there? If he's so used to it,
having their bodies exposed on the beach when they're just trying to hang out at the beach, they're used to paparazzi doing that. They're used to paparazzi climbing over their, you know, gated homes to try to get whatever pictures of them. We saw the extreme of this. What happened when Lady Diana was murdered, you know, by paparazzi trying to get a glimpse to sell that picture.
So why did he slap Chris Rock then? So why did he slap Chris Rock if he's so used to all of this over a G.I. Jane joke?
But celebrities do get to their point, and there have been many celebrities over time who have put their hands on paparazzi. You can look it up.
I agree.
Yeah. Many they get sick of it.
Tommy Lee the drummer
I-
of Motley Crue,
but
definitely had hands for many a popularizing.
so if we
video.
I think we have to take a little bit of that argument out of it if we're gonna say that celebrities are used to certain things. Again,
No,
I just
I'm not saying to take it. I didn't say take it out.
Mhm.
I'm just saying that we never know like what a person's breaking point is, right? And so it could
I
be
hear you.
the August Alsina thing
Mhm.
coupled with being embarrassed on the red table
I can
talk,
see that.
coupled with all of the jokes that have been happening like from that, coupled with whatever other pressures that we don't even know about,
I can see that.
that she's under and that he's under, and coupled with maybe their history, right, between him and Chris
Chris Rock.
Rock isn't necessarily the best,
Mm-mm.
right? And then couple that with whatever other pressures he may have been under. Maybe he wasn't sure he was going to win the Oscar. Maybe it was a lot of pressure, thinking like, am I going to win, am I not going to win, I'm probably not going to win, so let me wild out. I don't know. We're just all speculating.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like what's in his brain in the first place, if it's real.
If it's real.
Right? If it's real. I wanted to bring up another photo while we're here because I wanted to
Did you
get
see some of the memes?
I mean, but
some
that's
of the
what people
memes were
do.
terrible,
I mean,
right?
the funniest one was the "We Will Rock You." Did you all see that?
Oh no.
It was like two fists on the table, like boom, boom,
Mm-mm.
boom, boom, and then it was like "We." So it was like a Nintendo Wii, and then Will Smith, and then Will Smith again, and then Chris Rock.
That's so funny. There were some good ones.
I mean, we're in a world like everything. The coupling of reality television and social media has changed things to, even while people watch real television shows now, it's people like watching television shows and then going like, what's the meme connected to this, when they know something is happening. Like, I finally went on and watched the BMF series, and now I understand, like, and actually shout out to Loose Ends. I loved all that British soul, but like the whole Can't Stop the Rain, or all the memes of like the one dude with the do-rag and then Big Meech and them. Like, people right now, things have gone so interactive with social media, almost things happen and they become, shout out to Unicorns Are Real, Instagrammable moments. And this is one of those things, as it's manipulating certain triggers for certain things to happen. Definitely perfect distractions that can all encompass how people will respond. So the minute that this happens, they know things will happen, and people are working memes. My homie G Mac Cash, y'all need to get him on here. Detroit rapper that has all the, I guess what we say, comedic songs. Popeye's Got Roaches. Getting Gretchen Whitmer the buffs. I mean, he had his Chris Rock Got Smacked song like that night, 1 million views. Because they know they come to him. Like, I knew the minute this happened, I was like, content creators are going to have a field day with what this is. We're talking about it now.
Right.
Me and Josh will talk about it. And I'm sure Josh is, as a comedian, and this is the beauty of comedians, he's working some angle that people aren't trying to work with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sure Dave Chappelle, every comedian right now is like, come up on stage on me, and they're having their own jokes and stuff. I'm sure next time Chris Rock's on stage, it'll probably be like when Chris Rock and Kevin Hart, because it's opening the tour, I'm sure Kevin Hart's gonna come on stage and smack him by mistake or something. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be jokes connected to that. Like, the performative art meets reality is what's going on now. And I don't know. You just hope that within this performative art meeting reality, I will hope that people stay grounded, kind of going back to Brittany's point and kind of like some of my departing points. Like, people stay grounded in this, in whatever form of reality that it can be. But it's tough because the lines are getting so blurred of what's real and what's not real that,
Well, I wanted to look at this photo. This photo is after, no?
I don't know.
I don't watch the Oscars.
No one saw
I haven't watched the Oscars.
No one cares.
When's the last time I watched the Oscars?
People use the internet to see how the Oscars went.
I've never watched the full Oscars, to tell you the truth.
Either.
Because it's all those goofy films. I like movies with
You
black
said
people.
goofy films.
I am a Tubi fan. I like
I
my
like Tubi.
movies. I like my movies to have representations of black folk
Love me
Yeah.
too.
and not black folk that are like weird or certain. I wanted to feel. I've been conditioned to like a certain amount of entertainment. So them Tubi movies, you know, when Murder Pain is nominated for Best Actor, will be when I
You're
watch
silly.
Oscars.
All right, so tell me about this moment here.
I don't know.
He looked like they've rekindled their romance, and this was such a beautiful night to step out after a rekindled romance.
When is Murder
How
Pain gonna get
dare Chris Rock mention our romance when I'm so happy right now?
Murder Pain?
It looks like I'm so proud of you, Will. That's what I was waiting on my whole life.
And then that's another thing that I didn't like. They used Samuel Jackson tonight with Will Packer, and they gave him the Lifetime Achievement Award, but he's never really won an Oscar. And as a Samuel Jackson fan, even though I know his character basis is still sort of kind of in the same zone, Samuel Jackson has delivered many a great movies.
Pulp Fiction.
So can
is
I
one of my
leave y'all with my
favorites.
favorite Samuel Jackson movies list
Yeah.
before I leave?
Okay, what is it?
Many people think Jules in Pulp Fiction is my favorite Samuel Jackson film, but actually,
Sorry, it's so hard
not to be the Jackie Brown,
That was good.
because it had more Samuel Jackson than Jackie Brown, right? You know what I mean? It was so crazy. Like the scene where the scene in Jackie Brown where like he's just talking back and forth, and then also it was like Pam Grier's. As far as I'm concerned, that's her best film because it encompassed like the gangster 70s Pam Grier, but it was like through intellect and not just like trying to
That's
use
deep.
sex as a way to exploit every situation and opportunity. It was classic, you know. After we get with he had a weird name though. That's what that's what was his name? Odell or whatever. So that's one. Jackie Brown. I may have to watch these. So this is Khary's favorite Samuel Jackson movies. Two. Definitely Die Hard. Die Hard 3 is classic. It's the greatest Die Hard. You get one of the realest, most visceral Samuel Jacksons yelling back and forth at Bruce Willis, and for some reason helping this white police officer in the New York Police Department try to defend the city against these crazy Russians and Ukrainians. They was thinking ahead of the game.
Ukrainians.
Trying to steal all this gold, right? And they were stealing it for these terrorists. You know how those movies were back then. But I loved it. I loved that movie. So that's 2. 3, we're going to come around to Samuel Jackson as Stephen in Django. I've never seen a better step and fetch it coon. He epitomized so much of the coonery in the one character. Like Stephen from Django should have won Oscar. Like that character was so amazing.
Is that nigga on that neck?
Oh my God. There was so many scenes, especially like when he broke character and he was like, he lied to you. He know that girl. It was crazy.
That was so good.
Like
that was a really good scene.
It was like, and there's so many Stevens that we still live with today. One has A. Smith at the. I'm just messing with you. So basically,
Nah, that's real.
So basically, that Stephen in Django. Then we get to Pulp Fiction. Jules. It just isn't enough of him because it's like I'm fast forwarding through the movie and it's out of order. All the scenes with him are excellent. Especially, it's like the shepherd and the sheep.
That's my favorite.
Oh man,
that was my
like,
Twitter. That was my Twitter. Yeah.
The weak. And I'm the tyranny of evil men. Classic.
It is
classic. So then we get into some of those other films outside of the pantheon of what people say is a good movie, like Lakeview Terrace, where you have a heightened crazy black man because his wife left him and died in a car crash with the white man. So now he terrorizes who is that? Kerry Washington that lives next to him with the white guy, and he sets them up. Classic film. Classic character roles from him. Even though it's a small role, a lot of people think the best small role from Samuel Jackson is his role in Coming
Jungle
to
Fever.
America, right? But it's actually not. It's his role in School Days.
I like School Days.
You said that's his quintessential role?
His quintessential small character role. And then I definitely liked him as Gator in Jungle Fever.
I just watched the
everyone
clip of that
remembers
today.
Gator from Jungle Fever.
But I think I liked him in Coming to America more because they was like, man, that's the third time that guy robbed us. And let's see, what else is Samuel Jackson pantheon? Lakeview Terrace. Snakes on the Plane, surprisingly, is not as bad of a film as people thought it was going to be.
Plane.
It's a good movie. What else are Samuel Jackson films that The Unthinkable is a great Samuel Jackson. Oh, you know what I forgot about? And this should be higher in there. The Negotiator.
I never saw that.
The Negotiator was wonderful.
The Negotiator needs to bounce somewhere in my top 5 somewhere. Something's getting bounced, or it's like a top one. So these are Khary's favorite Samuel Jackson films. Go home, watch them, appreciate them, get into the character for being the character you like. Even Coach Carter, even though and when it comes to coaching films,
great movie. Coach Carter was great.
Yeah, Coach Carter's solid. I'm more of a lean on me.
It was like lean on me. Yeah. It was like the basketball lean on me.
Yeah.
The essential, the lean on me is essential. But Jackie Brown, watch Jackie Brown for Khary this weekend as you honor Samuel Jackson's abundance of accomplishments, even though they play him as a violent, murderous killer.
What was the other one? Unbreakable.
I forgot about that
one.
Unthinkable. No, the Unbreakable one. The one when
you mean Mr. Glass? What was that? I forget that. I think it might be Unbreakable because basically Bruce Willis was like the hero and he was Mr. Glass.
He was like the villain.
I don't like docile Samuel Jackson. I like yelling,
but he
shouting,
wasn't
cussing.
Docile, right? Because at the end he was the villain. I liked it.
And I'm gonna watch this new movie about him aging with dementia. That's on Apple Television. I'm looking forward to it.
That sounds really good,
especially like with everything that I'm seeing more about dementia. Like I'm looking forward to it. Like so that and we'll
okay, see. I have one more question.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that Will, is from Philly. But where's that hairstyle from that he's wearing?
It's from Beijing.
Is it?
I'm just messing with
No, it is. That's definite. I'm not about to say it out loud. Like you will.
It's that Beijing.
I wonder, is it because it reminds me of the painted on from the Instagram? You know how the guys are doing the painted
That's what it is.
Hairline from the Instagram?
Yeah, it's not
it.
Being my Piper people
that's probably it.
It might be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm unsure. Maybe someone in the chat can let us know.
I bid you guys adieu.
So messy for that.
I bid you all adieu. Peace be.
Thank you,
look at
Khary.
Piper making jokes about his hair. What if he going through something? Oh, here we go.
No, I mean,
Jada about to come smack you. Hey, Jada.
She's gonna come.
Jada, the original Lena hater, is talking bad about your man. You can come to Detroit, and Detroit is different. We'll give you a pass, and we'll see if you got them hands.
Jada, that ain't gonna happen.
Jada does have hands.
She got to get by me first.
Yeah. Well, what about so I had a few more pictures because I was just like,
Khary, just finish out.
I was super confused.
About to be done.
No, Khary said he has like so much stuff to do to like get prepared for
Samuel Jackson.
For his Sam Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson.
For his Sam.
Hi, Khary.
Peace, Khary. Thank you so much. Detroit is different proprietor. So, Brittany.
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to show another picture. I want to show this picture. I want to show this picture here. It's kind of similar to the other. It's kind of similar to the other picture. Because I was like looking at a lot of these pictures, and I was trying to like understand some stuff. Like, what's happening in this picture here? Hold on a second. Let me pull that up. Like, what's this picture here? Is that like a cuddle, like a head cuddle? It's kind of like I was like, did that happen before or after?
You might know more than me.
I don't know. What do you guys think? I feel like it happened after. I feel like that's like a head cuddle. That's kind of like, thank you. No,
Has the Oscars ever like laid their seating out like this before?
I'm unsure. You mean in terms of like
It just seems as if,
loungy?
yeah, it
It
seems
feels
real
like
chill.
it feels like okay, possibly what could have happened is maybe this is like the front row or the front. I don't know. I have to see the whole thing. But it is pretty luxurious though, isn't it?
Yeah, just I would. It's I was so shocked to see celebrities that close to the
Okay,
stage.
so Special K DJ said when he won, they head bumped before he got up to
Okay,
get the award.
okay.
He said he kissed her after this. Okay, so this is when he won. Right. And so yeah, I mean what can you do? You're there and you just got to like bask in your moment.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Um
the floor chart. So yeah, you're right. It was like the front part was set up like a lounge, like for
yeah.
like a lounge looking area, and then the rest of the venue was like regular.
Yeah.
So it's like
Like a VIP, extra
yeah,
triple double VIP section because the whole Oscars is like
yeah,
VIP.
but this was like yeah. To your point, yeah, you
Yeah.
can look at it and tell like, and you're looking at the stage,
Mm-hmm.
like it literally was like right by Will and the Jada.
And
It's
so
so funny.
yeah, so this is like a moment that was captured where it's like, okay, you finally won. We did it. We did it. Bad Marriage Forever. We did
Mm.
it. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. What say ye, Brittany?
Huh?
What say ye about this?
What say about it? I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard for me to nothing. It's all seems at this point like cringy because I mean, it's just me. Like I don't see. I'm just beyond like looking to celebrities for solidification. But I will say his speech moved me. Will's acceptance speech moved me. If anything, what moved me was Denzel Washington. Right, another black man like being able to speak to Will in such a way that I think was, you know, soft, gentle, and at the same time holding him accountable for his actions. I found more like that picture's cool. Like Will and we like I grew up on Will and Jada being like again the poster child of black love. Like so that just looks like a magazine cover they did for Vogue. Like I don't get nothing out of that. Like I get more out of the situation as far as like uh quote unquote black excellence is Denzel stepping in. I have, I'm not the biggest P. Diddy fan, but Diddy, coming in and stepping in and talking to, the scenario and giving, and addressing the elephant in the room and making it light. And I just love that. I like to see, people said, well, Chris Rock should have been being embraced. That's why I said it. I'm just over this whole thing, like, of what should have happened. It happened. And then, so what I find out, what I saw out of what actually happened was I thought Denzel's vibe was mad cool. The fact that Denzel was even in the area to be a part of it. He could have kept his mouth shut, right? He didn't have to be involved. He didn't have to put himself in that situation. And he did. I thought that was dope.
Yeah. That was cool.
I think so.
That was beautiful. Wow.
A lot, right?
It's been so much. I
It
feel
has
like
been.
yeah, like we haven't, I don't know. I mean, there's so many conversations about mental health and protecting black women and
That's how you want to be protected.
making fun of people that have, disabilities or chronic illnesses, making fun of black women's appearance all the time. What else? Stress, right? What have been the other like conversations that have come, out of this?
I want to dive into the protect the black woman one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you feel that was a sign of a black woman being protected?
It depends on, it really depends. Like, I could totally see if, like I said, they have this telepathy with each other, right?
Yeah.
I could totally see where if he, because clearly he laughed at the joke in the beginning, right? And then possibly looked over and then saw her, having lived with her and all the things that they've been going through with her health. I could totally see him maybe recognizing, like, oh man, she's feeling humiliated, you know. I could see that. And, having, I won't even say studied the brain. I'll say having had a couple of workshops on the brain and how the brain works, dealing with mental health. It is said that, to my understanding, it is said that when a person gets to that reptilian, fight or flight, whether it's extreme anger or extreme fear or extreme trauma, then the frontal lobe, which is your conscious brain, which does all of your decision making, like kind of shuts down.
I got you.
And then the back of your brain, which is your, I think it's called medulla oblongata, medulla oblongata. When that kicks in, then that's your, basic first brain.
Got it.
Which is all of your, instinct sort of responses, which are not your like conscious decision making responses.
I got you.
And so they say that can kick in, when you're experiencing extreme, anger, trauma, stress. Yeah. So I could see, I could see that happening if it's real. And we always have to say maybe it's real, maybe it's not real, because we know it is Hollywood, and we know that there are magicians there, and we know that the original, Hollywood, like the actual piece of wood, which is from the holly, right? It was what Merlin the magician used, right? For like his wand.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so we know that in Hollywood, they're always making magic and, turning all of our illusions into reality, like within, seconds in our face. And so, if it's real, then I could see that happening, because I've been places and I've snapped like that. I've had a couple of moments like that in my adult life. I remember I think it was probably like 2000 and maybe 4, like maybe 2000, somewhere between 2000. When did they start having geniuses in the Apple bar, in the Apple store?
You know better than me. That's a great, I mean,
was it like 2003, 4, something like that?
I would say that sounds about right.
Yeah, I was living in New York City, and I was in the Apple store, I believe it was like 14th Street. And I took my computer in because it was acting kind of wonky. And I remember I, went up to the so-called Genius Bar, and I told them it was acting kind of crazy. And they were like, okay, let me take a look at it, And so what they did not say at that time was that they were like, what he didn't say to me was that he was going to wipe it clean. Right. So he just takes my computer and wipes my whole computer clean without speaking to me, without asking me to sign anything, without informing me that that's what he was going to do. And I'm doing photography and video at the time, so I have all my software, like different projects, like I've got everything on there. And he brings me back the computer, and it's wiped completely clean. Not only that, he's like, oh, I couldn't fix the issue type thing. I went from 0 to like infinity.
I think it's warranted.
I went hard, worse than Will, but I didn't put my hands on the dude, but I did. First, I tried to collect my thoughts. I did the best I could, but I went straight to my, I went straight to my reptilian brain, because I'm thinking of all of the work that I've got to do,
that's all
that I've got to get paid for, because this is my livelihood, where I don't have any of my programs. So this is before Apple and all these programs, Adobe and all these people. It's before they actually like, put um it's before they put the programs and things like online. You know what I mean? And so you had to actually like purchase all the programs, and the programs at that time were like, $900 each. It was before they packaged them into like the Adobe suite. You know what I mean? So, and I had like every single program. So I'm like, I tell the Genius guy, I'm like, okay, I need you to like restore all my programs. And then he tells me, I can't do that. Like, I don't know how to do that. When I tell you I flipped out on that guy, I was like, "You're not a freaking genius. You're an idiot." I was like, I jumped on top of the table. I was like, "Ooh, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah." Like, I mean, not like that, but I'm saying that's how angry I was. They called security on me. They called the police. It was bad.
But so that goes back. What you're saying goes back to my point earlier. We have all had our moments to where we allow a different part of us to do thinking, right? And I see him saying Will got a pass, like just like Juwan Howard. You seen when Juwan Howard open face slapped that coach, right? When you a certain type of black dude and you have a certain type of uh things behind you, you will get a pass. No pun intended with the will. But so I feel you on that. I honestly think that I want to stay where I was going. That I'm not giving him a pass, but what I will say, we as human beings have all had a moment where we have disconnected ourselves from reality and our conscious mind, and things happen. Some things happen. Some things tick people off. Like you mentioned earlier, I think Will has taken a lot of brute of their relationship, which I still again think that's part of their own fault. And he's taken on a lot of social media memes. He's taken on a lot of stuff. So for that joke to be that small, again, you lost your part of how you make income, right? You were in a situation where
he might have too.
Well, what I'm saying is that joke, that G.I. Jane joke, like to me, compared to you losing all the stuff, like I'm trying to say two things. One, I agree. We have to, for people acting like Will Smith just did the worst thing ever, have to remember, like, we all have had moments where we have had to tell other people that's not who I am. Right? That's not, or tell yourself that action is not who I am. Right? So to pretend like as if we haven't had those scenarios is just an unreal narrative. But even with that narrative, right, we have to be careful what we allow ourselves to react to. Like I just told y'all, Monday morning, I let it slip out of my mind. Just like how he let it slip out of his mind, he about to win his first Oscar. I just had an amazing vacation. And I wake up frantic, changing the whole mood of the house. As a woman, we are supposed to add a sense of calmness to the space. And I did not do that. So for Will, right, you have to remember that it's not about him being a celebrity and him signing up for stuff. You're a human being. And all it takes is 1 second, 1 minute, one move for you to be questioned about who your character is and who you really are. And that's why you have to be careful. Not because it's famous, but because you're a human being. And human beings, we're irrational, we're hypocritical. And that one moment, everyone has forgotten all that.
But also too, that is the challenge of being a celebrity and then having your whole life like play out on social media. Now, many people, the so-called laymen, have been playing out their lives and their relationships or whatever on social media. And, Will Smith has made his family a product, right? There's a whole article about how he created this product that is his family, right? And so with that, there's the whole, I'm going to call it like the Ozzie and Harriet type of, we're a progressive, like perfect family. We're always smiling. We're always happy. We're always this. And that's just not the way people are. Like you're saying, everyone's not always smiling, not always happy, not always perfect, not always. And there is this pressure, this extra pressure, extra pressure for a top celebrity to always be in shape, to always have their skin and their hair and all the things be
Yeah.
perfect. They have to act perfect. They always have to smile. They always have to be bubbly. They always have to be, you know, this like this ideal perfection that no one is, right? And so I can't even imagine, right, like being a celebrity and having to like be that level of perfect like all the time. At the same exact time, I'm gonna say I'm
Me
gonna be
either.
honest, I do hope he doesn't lose the Oscar just because they fought so hard for it. And I know that's like, you know, yeah, I know people have challenges with that.
I would
But
hate to see him lose the Oscar on the basis of this. And then someone commented about the character of Chris Rock. Like, all right, so this is I'm gonna just give y'all again, just hear me out. I'm not saying there's always levels to things, but you have to sometimes take certain things out of context to see the reality of the thought process. So right now, right, we're dealing with I'm digressing. We're dealing with Chicago drill rap, right? Where these guys are putting in their music, what they have done to the opposition. And that music is being used to say, okay, you put my name in a song, you talked about my homeboy, you smoking on my homeboy's grounds, I'm coming back and I'm retaliating against you. So people are always gonna say things. I've had people say things to me that have deserved. I've had people do things to me that have deserved ass whoopings. One person ass I did whip. And then the other moments where I feel like I was in complete deservement to whoop somebody's tail, like, excuse my language, sometimes you don't do it. So as far as Chris Rock making a joke, I honestly think our society is weird, right? I don't like our society saying, oh, well, you have to be able to be used to somebody cracking a joke on you in front of your face. That's weird to me. Like, it's no way, comedian or not comedian, like, am I going to allow somebody to sit in my face and like disrespect me? So for me, that concept is weird, but we're talking Hollywood. And again, it was a G.I. Jane joke. Like, I could see if Chris Rock and everything that Will Smith and Jada had been through, that joke did show character per Chris Rock. Chris Rock and how raunchy and annoying and not a bully he is, but how he can chastise people, that was not even close to deserving that. Not even close to me, right?
yeah, but we're not talking about. I mean,
I'm not
I'm gonna
forget
say
the mental.
no. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
I for me, it's not a deserve because if it's real, and you're talking about someone flip on somebody in that moment, um, a person could lose their mind. Like they could lose their conscious mind, their conscious thinking. They could get so upset that their decision-making brain, that frontal lobe, is done.
So what? So
and they just go to the like emotional part of the reptilian brain.
So should we not have comedians crack on people in a crowd at the Oscars? I'm just that's a serious question. Because there were other people that were talked about that night and did not do that.
But the things that they were talked about were not the autoimmune disease.
I understand that. Okay. So you're saying that when someone has a disability or something going on with them, it's off limits for jokes. Are we saying that now?
How about this? We could say whatever we want to say. Comedians are going to do whatever they're going to do. I'm not for censoring, like on any level. I don't believe in censoring. I'm just saying that I believe that comedians shouldn't talk about people's disabilities or diseases or things like that. Comedians joke about people having AIDS. AIDS was a terrible, horrific, debilitating, traumatic disease, but people joke about AIDS. People have joked about people being on crack. Is a very traumatic experience. Definitely Chris Rock knew. Everyone. If I knew, he knew. I'm not in Hollywood.
Yeah, I think he knew too. I think it's the report that he didn't know is a lie. I would say okay. So people are saying, what do you think about this? People saying, this reminds me of Lizzo, right? This concept is real interesting to me. Like, basically the concept of I'm comfortable in my skin. I don't care. Like, I don't care what people got to say about me in this bald head. I don't care what people got to say about me being fat. And then when somebody says you're fat, you tell people that they're fat shaming. So what do you think about that? Okay, I don't care about what people say about my bald head, right? But then someone calls you bald, now you mad. What do you
I
think about
mean,
that?
I think that that's human.
I think it's too.
I think people I think people try, especially celebrities, do the best that people can to show up as strong as, you
Mhm.
know, being able to, take it, as being able to, endure. But, people are people, and we could, for me, I don't have really absolutes in life. There are absolutes,
I hear you, pipe.
but I don't really have a long list of absolutes in life. So for me, I feel that anybody can shift, at any moment. And that's not to justify it. It's just to
That's
say,
sorry.
to try to have some level of understanding about it. And how do we, yeah, like how do we move from here? Because yeah, I mean, I would love to say, okay, well, I have no insecurities, and anybody can joke with me about anything and I'm never
Maybe.
going to be offended. But I already know. I mean, there are plenty of things, I'm not about to name them, but there are plenty of things that, not plenty, but there are some things that would really cut me deep and that would really hurt. Some things that, I was maybe teased about in childhood. The other thing too that I thought about as we're getting ready to sign off,
Yeah.
um, in Will Smith's book and also on social media, he has spoken about his home life and the abuse that he watched his mother endure from his father. We never know if any of that could have, not to justify it, but we don't know if any of that
I
could
think
have also,
if
kicked in.
I think that Will's background has a lot to do with what we saw. And that's why I say, like, I don't want to make this a bigger deal than what it is. It's a human thing. And like we should embrace people like that, because not because he's Will Smith and he's the clean guy, but because I think Will is dealing with, if I had to go into his mental, right? I'm not saying he has issues. We all have issues. As I'm just saying, like, if you look at the things he's been through, right? Even with taking, even being open about him thinking that he wasn't a man enough to date Jada when it came to Tupac, right? Even that, right? Those insecurities and him being open about that, I think plays into it. You know, I don't know. Like I think that he's there's a DJ on our in our chat that says that they follow Will and Jada extensively and they didn't know that she had alopecia. Just thought that that was a new hairstyle. So there, I mean, there's probability that Chris Rock didn't know. If I think he did. That's my opinion. I just look at body language. Like again, I'm leaning towards the thing was staged. I just don't trust Hollywood. I've seen videos of white people going on daytime shows, smacking each other up. Like I've seen a lot recently of them re-showing videos of people smacking people and it being coming out later that it was staged. So I am leaning towards Kari's opinion, but I will never know. And honestly, I don't care that much. You know what I mean? I want to see when it talks about when they talk about ancestors and Sidney Poitier being upset and all this stuff. Like, honestly, if we as a group of people cared about violence, we would boycott the radio stations. We wouldn't allow for certain music and themes to be on the radio.
Amen.
We there's no way we care that much about our how people perceive black men as violent if why we allow the music to go on the way that
Amen.
the way that it is. The music out here is so disrespectful.
Amen.
You talking about, like, again, I bring Chicago into it, right? These young men are detailing and basically turning rap music into their journal entries to their murders.
Everybody's been doing that for a while,
You know what I
at
mean?
least 20 plus years.
Okay, even worse, right? So then now we want to say that Will Smith now has ruined the clean man's image of, no, that doesn't work like that. If we care so much about that, we would not have that music on the radio. We would be boycotting them. We would be boycotting the radio stations that aren't owned by black people.
But people have been boycotting
Not more
the
people
radio
would.
stations for the longest time.
More people would.
So many people boycott the radio stations.
I'm talking about the people talking about the violence of Will Smith. To be the same people I hear listening to music way worse than what Will Smith did. So let's just keep it into perspective is all I'm saying. Because when we start going into all these ideologies and thought processes about how Black people are perceived, honestly, it doesn't correlate or all tie or make any circulation or connection points for me, because we allow too much other behavior as a whole.
Well, I think it's, for me, I don't like the argument about how Black people are perceived, because it negates the humanity.
There you go.
And for me, we have all these different levels of humanity. I think
Yes.
what is an interesting conversation, though, is the ways in which the corporate media conglomerates control the images of everyone, control everyone's story, right? And that's why there's so much backlash against so-called, like, independent media or the internet, because people have a plethora of choices now. And this is the corporations' ways of trying to get back some of that power through trying to control the internet or control the different channels. And so for me, as person who makes independent media, I'm happy to see a plethora of independent media out here, and people do have choices. So it's not like in the 80s where people had to go to this or that, only go to these television stations or only go to these cable stations to see what it is that they want to see. Now you have all these, like Khary mentioned Tubi, right? We have Netflix that is doing independent deals with people like Ava DuVernay, who has empowered a whole army of Black women to create interesting, innovative content. You have people like Lena that are doing some creative content. So at this point, the argument about the way that Black people are perceived, I feel is I don't want to say it's a mute point, but I do want to say that I think it's an invalid argument.
I do too,
in the sense that people do have choices, and so, but it does speak to who's choosing what.
Agreed.
It speaks to
I love the way you just
who's
broke that
choosing
down.
what,
I agree.
and that lots of people are choosing things.
Thank you for using your word.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's 100% exactly how I feel. We have to look at things from a more of a human element and human behavior before we start adding all those other concepts to them. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't know. We could go on and on and on.
We could.
But it's been almost 2 hours, and I want to thank everyone for listening and thank everyone for joining the chat. I want to ask you to like, share, subscribe to the Piper Carter podcast on the Detroit is Different podcast network. Check inside of the description for the gig fair website, and that's coming up this April the 1st on Friday, and it's for independent folks to get some coin in your pocket. And also follow us on social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm on Twitter. So if you want to go to Instagram and Facebook, you go to Piper Carter Podcast. Please join our Facebook group, and we can continue this conversation, or you can create a new conversation. Also, too, if you want to go to the Detroit is Different Instagram and Facebook, you can, like, share, subscribe there as well. There are many podcasts about Detroit stories, and you can go to our website, pipercarterpodcast.com, and you can go to detroitisdifferent.net. And we will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.